I have no idea what you're talking about.
Dude,
you came in here with like 1 second left. Shut up.
Hey, that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about you not clicking go live on time. That's what we care about right now.
You came in.
It's not, you're bringing up ancient history. We're talking about right now what's happened. We're sorry, everyone. You had to sit there and with a black screen, probably. I mean, Meg probably has already slapped old Uncle Chuck 6 times by now. Uncle Cook. But I think we're going to have a pretty fun episode going tonight. Are you a rabbit's foot?
Maybe.
I don't know what happened, but
I put my back on.
Meg was crying. You made Meg cry. How does that make you feel?
It wasn't me.
Was you? It's definitely you.
It was not me.
Back to back. What's up, fam? What's up, Bruce? How's it going? What's tonight's subject? I think we got a few things to talk about. We were at the Roval. We're going to talk about that. Even though we missed you, you didn't even come say hey to us. We missed you there, sir. But we're going to talk about some penalty news and stuff as well. There's a lot of interesting things that have come to light lately.
About that. I'm still living in my own world right now.
I'll say you have celebration guilt. What's up, fam? Andy, just go to every race. Kyle Larson won't lose a race. We're gonna see. We're gonna find out.
So here's the thing. I broke the curse at Bristol, right?
Yep. Short track.
And Bristol was what?
Racetrack.
It was a cutoff race.
True. Got it.
Go to the Roval, which is a cutoff race, and who wins?
Yep.
Where are we going next?
Jeff Gordon.
Where are we going next?
We're going to Martinsville, and I cannot wait for that. And that is also
Martinsville
a cutoff race. A cutoff race. Yeah, but here's the thing. If Larson wins Martinsville, very possible. But if he wins Martinsville, and Christopher Bell is still in the playoffs, I think Christopher Bell takes on Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. Christopher Bell makes a Final Four. I'm putting money on him.
Yeah. After 40 years, I didn't make it over there. We missed you. We poured one out for you.
Where?
Our neighbor.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my camera was covering the chat, so I didn't even see it.
Wow. I care. Just know
that.
Why
don't you make it over, Bruce?
But let's get into Roval. Obviously, it was a great... Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. This doesn't feel right. You haven't interrupted me with the intro yet.
Just waiting for the perfect time.
I feel like you forgot.
First
you were late.
I was fucking freaked out.
Now you forgot.
I actually did forget.
I knew it. I had a feeling. Well, let's roll it and get into this.
Talking about being late and everything.
It's true.
God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
Still down there. Still outside the corner, you're number one. Was out. Vanity just about out wrecked him. And then she busted her ass.
We really need to update at least the Victory Lane video.
Yeah.
I gotta send you my... I gotta send. You're gonna get a kick out of it because the security guy gets right in front of me. He's like, "You're gonna film nothing but his tit, not women." Just
that's what
point that out there. Yeah, he's like, "You're gonna film nothing but my tits." You go back, and I'm literally backing up. There's someone right behind me, and I'm bumping into them every time I back up. The dude just stops right there, so it's like I get perfect video of him coming onto pit road, and then I get perfect video of security man's chest, and then finally, right when Larson's about to pass me, he moves back out of my way again.
I think I saw him. Was it the dude in the black like security
the
shirt?
black directly next to me in that Charlotte video.
TikTok or whatever you sent to the group that you were in it from
Yeah.
Charlotte Motor Speedway or whatever. Was that the dude?
That's the dude. He literally stops right past me afterwards, just being a dick. But
Well, we've got a lot of content to go through for one,
got a lot.
and two, the stuff that we have collected over the last 2 years can go towards the intro for next season. Because I don't think there's any reason to update it with like 3 races left now.
It's true. This is true. We can just keep this one for now. Then next year we get it going. Maybe even a different theme song.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got some ideas for next year's.
Cool. All right, so that'll be next year's. But let's get back into this year. We went to the Roval. Obviously, I think everyone can agree we want it to be back on the oval and not actually on the Roval. But next year we go back. What are they going to do to bring fans back? Because it didn't look as full as it's been looking before, and even at other Rovals.
You know what's going to bring all the fans back to the Roval for next year?
Night race.
No, the Truck Series.
Yes, the most watched racing series that NASCAR has will also be added to the weekend. So that's going to bring all the fans. And they got it. Why didn't we think of that?
Well,
Wait,
so seriously, a
we
night race at the Roval would be the only thing, in my opinion, that would save it temporarily. It would not last very long. I think it would pretty much blow over. We were there obviously Friday night or Friday evening, and we saw some type of like practice race going on. There was all kinds of different vintage style race cars out there, from like a Gen 6 Cup car all the way down to what was it?
They had the old Monte Carlos. They had some of the old trucks out there.
Justin Marks was in like a 05 Dodge Charger, Adam Petty,
the 45 Rainbow. Yeah.
So there was all kinds of different cars out there. There's a couple of trucks. There was the Trump truck out there.
Yep.
And then Saturday, after the Xfinity race, they went back out there. And I guess that was like the actual race. And they raced at night at the Roval. So you can't tell me it can't be done. It definitely can be done. They have portable light towers that you can put up. So why?
Especially with the change, the way they changed it, there's more room.
Yeah, they instead of making the Truck Series come, which I'm assuming it's going to be on a Friday, instead of doing the Truck Series, they should just have kept it as the Xfinity and Cup Series and do them as night races.
Yeah, I mean, if they did it as night races, I would be more excited. I mean, I'm going either way because we always go, but I know I would be more excited because just obviously we've been to the Charlotte race every year since. I mean, the Roval basically we only missed COVID years, but we've been going to Charlotte since I think 2014, 2015 as a friend group. So we've seen a lot of races, and whenever it gets dark at Charlotte, it's like getting dark at Darlington. It's not as good, but it's like getting there. So I'm always fan for
I would
racing.
think that there's no reason why we couldn't try doing the Roval at night, but why try to do that when we know that night racing at the Roval is only just going to put on a show? It's not going to change any of the actual racing on the track. So we have a car that excels on ovals, 1.5 miles. Why aren't we utilizing a 1.5 mile racetrack in the playoffs?
Especially when it's right there and it races so well. Yeah, I mean, that part I 100% agree. Wow, that is way up there. Bring that one down. But so, I think a lot of it, and Bruce says here, in my opinion, there's just less motorsports fans. And I'll agree with one part of that. And the one part of that is there's less of the old school people that just like the muscle car. Because if you look into some of the other forms of racing that are out there, they're growing audiences while NASCAR is losing their audience. And I think it's because all the big NASCAR fans, they're going to your grassroots racing. I think they're going more towards, the flow racings, the local short tracks, Legends, all these different things, all these different racing circuits that are out there. I mean, there's even Travis Pastrana's E thing. There's drifting, there's drag racing. So I think a lot of the fans in NASCAR have just honestly just moved over to other things because they got bored and tired of NASCAR not listening to the fan base.
I think that's a good take for sure. I also think that
For you, Darren,
we
for you.
we have plateaued as far as our fan base. Now, I know Netflix renewed for their chase format, whatever it was last year. They're doing that again for this year. I don't know if that's going to move the needle any more than it did for this last season.
What's up, Randy? How's it going, buddy?
Yo, Randy. What up, buddy?
Bro, good talking. Man, y'all are coming back. Y'all better come back next year. Figure out a way.
Why? We need to figure out how to get Randy back.
We're gonna have to figure this one out. And for y'all that don't know what we're talking about when it says Fall Guy, we're gonna keep it that way, and it's just for us.
Randy, talk to Bill and figure out if he's actually renewed his site for the 600 next year.
This is also a very good question. Have you actually watched that yet?
No, I watched it after Bristol.
Okay. So you at least watched it after Bristol, but not since this weekend.
No.
You're disgusting. Meg says no shot.
You shouldn't say anything, David.
I gave him hell for not coming this year. Princess had a race this year. Well, we're gonna figure out a way to make sure you come to the race regardless.
But my question is, did Bill renew that site and just not come? Well, obviously not, because we had different neighbors for the 600.
Because when I talked with those neighbors, they said that they got the call from the office because they were put on the wait list before. So, yeah.
Randy, I don't know if we're going to be neighbors next year. Mm-hmm.
But, all right. Mm-hmm. The way to get to more fans is to have those exciting finishes like Kansas and Atlanta, or question how Joey has had so much fuel than everyone at Nashville. So I have to disagree with a portion of this, and that is that if you have more finishes like Kansas and Atlanta, nothing will ever look good again. You can't have 105-star races. You can only have so many to keep everything else special. Now, should it be more competitive when it comes to certain tracks? 100%. But you can't have a bunch of finishes like Kansas and Atlanta. It's going to ruin the sport.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's gonna make it to where it's not exciting anymore. I don't know if it would ruin it, but it would take the excitement out of it. Like, oh yeah, had another 3-wide finish. Oh yeah, who cares? So
yeah. You can only get so close before it's a tie.
We've been fortunate this year because we've had some really good racing and some really good finishes. And then on the other end of the spectrum, that when we've had a really good race, it's like we go to the next track and it's a dud. Like, I'm not saying Talladega was the greatest race in the world, but it put on a show. And then we go to the Roval and it is what it is.
And you know, we talked about it when we go to a racetrack, or when anyone goes to a racetrack, that racetrack is already 15% better than it was. Like when you go there, there's just the whole mentality and everything changes. And so like you perceive it as a good race, even if it is kind of a snoozer.
It wasn't like we go to a NASCAR race just for the race. And if, the race sucks, then it ruins the weekend. Like,
some people are like that.
For example, the Atlanta race earlier this year, the second playoff race or whatever. I was pissed in the moment what happened to Kyle. And then after kind of blew over, I enjoyed the rest of the weekend. So you don't necessarily go for just the racing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're cursed before today with Atlanta being there. You know, you're used to a little bit of despair, I guess you should say. And, we still go no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter. I mean, like, we all now have had a driver of ours win, which is great. But it's been years, and we still keep going because it's not like, oh, well, they're never going to win again. Well, this might be the time they do win. And then you get there and they don't. I mean, it's okay. It's fine. but then it's also the camping. It's
It-
the being right beside the track,
Yeah.
fan zone, being in the garages, talking with other fans. It's a whole different thing.
And when we get our entire group together, or the majority of the group together, that's it enough right there.
Yeah, 100%. Especially Spring Dega. Maybe you'll come next year.
Yeah.
But Spring Dega is where it's at. But all right, so we go through, we only had Xfinity and we only had Cup. So the Xfinity side, the racing was decent. It was better than Cup racing.
Well,
for sure.
I mean, we're not going to dive too deep into the Xfinity race, but we can talk about the controversial finish to the race.
That's the main thing I was hoping you were going to bring up. So that works out perfectly. So the race itself wasn't that great, but at the end, we end up having a caution while the 35 car has been underneath the tire barrier
42.
for 3/4 of a lap. So that tire barrier is in turn 7. They called the caution a foot from start finish line.
Yeah.
That's clear across the track. Like, it took forever for NASCAR to call this caution. At that
And
point,
the excuse was they didn't see him under the tire barrier.
so I heard more into it as well. So NASCAR could not verify someone was there. They have someone in the tower that is actually watching live TV feed. And they are supposed to, their job is literally to call that, hey, this has happened on the track. Then someone's supposed to verify it. I don't really buy into that, but that was NASCAR's explanation. And then that's when they call the caution.
I don't buy
Apparently, they didn't see it. I don't think that's the truth.
I don't buy it.
I mean, you have guys like, who is it? Martin Truex just touched the wall with a breath and they call a caution in 10 seconds. Not even 10 seconds, 10 milliseconds.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks for checking in. We're going to see you next year at the 600 for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Stonberg, what's up, brother? I saw you got, you're in the IMSA world now. Hope that treats you well. Boom. But is it fair to Parker?
No.
Obviously not.
Well, okay, so it doesn't matter how that race was officiated for that last call or whatever. My opinion is Parker won that race. He had held off Sam Mayer and I think it was AJ for 10 laps or so.
Mhm.
And there was, if it wasn't for the caution being called a foot from him across the start finish line, he would have won the race.
Yeah.
He was coming back to the white flag. I mean, yes, he could have blown a corner or whatever. Things could have happened. But in my eyes, Parker won that race. He flat out, he had the freshest tires, drove to the lead, and held the lead. Held off Sam Mayer and AJ Allmendinger.
That was my thing. If he was like almost losing it, that's where I'd be like, okay, I can take this a little bit easier because he maybe wasn't the best car there that day. But the way he was racing there at the end, he was the best car there at that time of the day.
And they raced very aggressively and hard, but it wasn't like they raced each other dirty. Fuck Sam Mayer. I can't stand Sam Mayer. He's a dork. But I will say he didn't straight up clean Parker out for the lead.
No, he got class this time.
Yeah. So to the officiating side of it, the race director for the Xfinity Series is different than the Cup Series. Same thing for the Truck Series. They have different directors and officiators. But I don't buy the fact that they weren't able to see him under the tire barriers because they have spotters all around the track. There was no reason for them to wait that long to throw the caution, period.
There's a flag man in that corner. There's literally someone like, if you watch the video.
How do you not notice the tire barrier is up in the air because a fucking car is underneath of it? Even though the car may be kind of hidden, don't you think you'd look over there and be like, oh, why is the tire barrier 6 feet up in the air?
I mean, honestly, are you surprised though? That's the thing. Are you surprised? No. And I'm gonna go on the other side. I'm gonna play devil's advocate real quick because honestly, they should have honestly, they should have thrown that flag earlier that's the part where it's like, okay, it still did what it was supposed to do. However, you waited so long that you took the legitimacy out of it, as well as angered
That's what it is.
everything. But the caution should have been called. So don't get me wrong when we're talking about all this. The caution should have been called just way earlier.
Right. Yeah, I'm not arguing that at all.
The plastic from the bear resolving tree. Yeah, I mean, like it had stuff everywhere, and they couldn't see it. That was their explanation. I don't get it. All right, so
I didn't like the call. I'm glad that I hated it for Parker because I was listening to his radio for the last 10 laps or so. Obviously wanted to see him win. It's his, he's retiring. He's not going to race, after this season. He may jump back in the car here and there, but this is his last full-time deal. I'm not saying it was his last chance to win. You've got 4 more races in the season, but
but they're not really his super strong suit.
Right. And they're not a super team. They're an affiliate of RCR. While RCR has a really good Xfinity program, Parker's going to be third fiddle to the 21 and the 2 car. So I think that was probably his best opportunity to win a race before he goes out. And to hear him on the scanner as dejected as he was and really upset, and justifiably so. And then we saw him Sunday in the garage, and he looked okay, but you can tell he's
I mean, I just gave him a fist bump. I didn't even want to be like calling attention because I'm sure the dude has heard from everybody that was your race, you won it, they screwed you, blah blah. I'm sure he's heard every bit of it. So there's nothing I can say that's going to bring anything better to the moment. So I'll just give him a fist
some
bump.
random fan. Yeah.
Some random fan. I'm gonna give him a fist bump. I'm not gonna say much. I'm gonna give him the nod whenever I give him the fist bump. He gave me the nod back, and it was just like, hey, good racing. That's all it is.
On the broadcast, they talked about a possible caution as soon as he hit the barrier. I believe NASCAR actually saw. They had to have.
There's no way
I don't buy any of it because they have telemetry. They're
just
watching
what they said
from the tower. They're watching telemetry and everything. So how do you not notice there's a? I don't know.
Where's John? We need John to come in here.
Yeah, John could probably clear it.
Even
up
though he didn't work this weekend with us, jerk.
Yeah, that's weird. I thought he was going to be there.
I did too. But so I mean, obviously, the rest of the Roval, we were on the bus. We got to check out, the pits, the garages, everything before the race, which was fantastic. If you ever get the chance to do it, you have got to just say yes and go do it. It is so much fun to see stuff that you don't normally get to see. Stand in the garage. I mean, we got to sit there and look over Chad Canas's shoulder while they're working on Larson's car and getting it started. I have 2 videos, one high idle, one just regular idle of Larson's car that I can't wait to post because just listening to it is just music to the ears.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about this too. I think I talked about it on our little pre-race podcast show that we had. The passes are awesome. It was a great experience, but I will say the Saturday or the day before the Cup race is definitely the day to go down there because it's less hectic for sure. But I feel like that's your opportunity to meet drivers and get pictures with them and everything because Sunday it's a madhouse. And even for the Roval, like we didn't see a lot of fans in the stands for Charlotte attendance, in my opinion. And even for the Roval, I mean, the garage was packed. I remember when they were pushing Truex's
shoulder to
car
shoulder,
out.
man.
Yeah, they were pushing Truex's car out Sunday morning, and like you couldn't even see the car and the crew. And he's driving an orange Bass Pro Shops car. Like you can see it because of all the people around it. So
well, and I want to bring up something that was interesting to me, and I know we talked about it in the garage itself, but I said it in the group as well. One thing I thought that was very odd is Chase Elliott is NASCAR's golden boy. He is apparently the favorite by far, right? There was nobody around his car in the garage. Like everyone else was huddled around their driver. Like it didn't matter what was going on. But then Chase's car, there was only one lady with 2 kids.
Yeah,
part of the team probably.
I don't completely buy into it, but to say that Chase is the most popular driver, I don't see it.
Definitely least personality.
How many races has Chase won over the last 2 years?
Golden boy. One.
One.
Yeah, one.
One.
So it's definitely interesting. I thought it was odd because you just get used to seeing crowds. Like it's insane when someone thinks that their favorite driver is going to be there, or if they really like the car that they're talking about, they're huddled around them. They're all around it, and then all of a sudden,
I'm here. The camera fucked up.
then all of a sudden I turn to Chase's and there's nothing there. I'm gonna post that one on TikTok for sure. Because that's an interesting thing that I want people to kind of talk about.
Yeah, for sure. He won't win a championship. I don't see him win another championship.
I mean, if
Like,
I had the IP rights,
that's the thing that bugs me is like I understand that like Chase is that kind of quiet, secluded, doesn't open up, show his personal life or anything like that. But you would think that somebody who is deemed the most popular driver of our sport, he's one of the biggest names, if not the biggest name currently in our sport. They promote him to no end, even though he's vanilla. You would think that there would be a lot of pressure and he would maybe succumb to it to at least open up. And even if they didn't show everything, like, hey, you can follow me around for this race or whatever, there was 5 episodes to that Netflix season last year. Maybe they just did 1 episode.
Yeah. I think, what I think is happening on this is the same thing with Michael Jordan and NASCAR. I think Chase owns the intellectual property, the IP, for his name and his brand and his likeness. And I think his team takes it super, super seriously. And I think that's honestly what's really keeping him out of stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true too, because I think Chase is one of the only ones I know of currently that actually has a trademark on his name.
Yeah. I just think he's trying to keep that because a lot of people don't know it, but we were talking with some friends, and one of the biggest things for Michael Jordan when it came to this NASCAR charter deal was basically in the contract it said that they could have IP rights to everything with the team. Michael Jordan is part of that team, so that means that he would be signing over Michael Jordan rights, and I just don't think it's happening.
And Michael can't actually do any signatures or anything like that either.
Hey, his daddy ain't nothing wrong with his daddy. His daddy's awesome, but he ain't his daddy.
I would not have a problem with Chase if he wasn't.
If he was open.
Yeah, if he was a little bit more open. Like I don't want to say
he almost ran over us.
The times that we've interacted with him around the track, he's
terrible. Every single time. Almost ran us over.
Twice.
Don't give me time of day. Yeah, twice. Kills me.
It's funny. Like I've never, like the times we've had passes and everything, I've never like wanted to be like, hey, I'm gonna go get a picture of Chase. Like,
well, so my new thing is taking a photo of Michael Jordan every time he leaves Charlotte.
Yeah.
So far, I've been straight on with these. Chase Elliott this time did not use the Xfinity garage to leave immediately. So I don't know where he went this time, but he has a new exit because I guess I blasted the old one.
Well, that's where Kyle came from in practice. So
no, I'm talking about there's like the back side right past victory lane, like going in that way. Yeah, that's how he was coming. But very, very interesting to see what's going to happen with Chase. I think Ross Chastain's. Honestly, I think it's Ross Chastain is really pushing, becoming that big fanfare, the fan favorite. I think so, man. Like he's doing. Have you seen the TikToks and stuff they're making now? He's finally starting to make like funny stuff.
Yes, I think there's like the opening of personality from Ross and like putting him out there. I don't want to present any biasness, but I feel like Kyle may
he can reserve himself in the back.
Huh?
Chase or David, sorry. David Salva Chase is also.
I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there's also like if you are deemed the most popular driver, like Dale Jr. was a little bit more open than Chase was. Like
you don't have to go through the campground.
You could argue
And-
he has a bigger name than Chase does.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is like drivers back then would go through the campgrounds. They would go through the stands. They would do all these different things outside. These drivers now, unless they're required because someone's paying them to do it, they're at the hauler. They're sitting inside their actual RV. Like they're chilling. They're not coming out for anything extra right now.
No, I think a lot of that's got to do too with like the charter agreement and the driver rights and all of that. Like if I watched a video yesterday, and I'll send it to you because it's a pretty interesting one. It talks about the charter stuff that's going on, and how not Jim France, how he has secretly monopolized the sport, and how a lot of the merchandise revenue does not go towards drivers. It goes towards NASCAR because they signed that over when they, a part of that RTA and everything. And the video actually talked about how Larson had said that he makes more money selling his merchandise, his dirt merchandise at dirt tracks than he does at NASCAR.
Yes. And I believe it. He's openly commented. He's openly commented about it multiple times.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He's also the same guy that called it out, and it's true. Every other sport, they're setting record-breaking deals every single time they sign something.
Yeah.
NASCAR is going backwards. It's record-breaking, but it's because of how small it is.
Well, and the thing that I guess this could kind of lead into some of the talks we had last time about, the 2311 and everything suing NASCAR. But one thing that this video talked about was when the charter agreement was made originally, the breakdown was like, I think NASCAR got, I'm close to this number. It's not the exact number, but they got like 20% of the TV rights. Teams got maybe 30%, and then the tracks got the other 50%. It's something like that. But then
keep in mind, NASCAR owns most of the tracks.
Hold on. And so then NASCAR, after that original agreement was made, NASCAR then bought ISC. So then they own half the tracks that are on the circuit. So all of a sudden, not only do they get the money that they're originally guaranteed, they are now getting that portion of track money because now they own those tracks. So they essentially monopolized it. And so the money that was in the new charter agreement, it wasn't high enough. That's why 2311 and FRM did not sign it. But
other grievances,
including the merchandising rights that teams and drivers, they sign that all away. And now all of a sudden you can go to a dirt track and sell your merchandise at a dirt track and make way more money on your own personal merchandise than anything that has to do with NASCAR.
Yes. And that's sad.
That's
not how it should be.
That is a problem.
You look at it.
It's genius. It's genius of how NASCAR monopolized
for NASCAR. For NASCAR, it's genius. But for everyone else, I mean, imagine your favorite sporting team, and they only make 40% of the money spent at the arena,
right,
or at the stadium. Like, that is insane. How is NASCAR able to take that much money instead of giving it to the teams to grow? Because we have friends that work in NASCAR in multiple different sport and multiple different facets, and let's just say they're not the most well-paid people. Like,
just like team members, they're not the most well-paid team members either. And then how do teams make a profit? They don't make a profit.
They don't.
Hendrick
says he doesn't make a profit now.
Jeff Gordon said last year.
Yeah.
Jeff Gordon said last year, Hendrick Motorsports has not made a profit over the last 15 years or since the charter agreement came to fruition. At least since the charter agreement, Hendrick Motorsports has not made a profit. They have not broken even.
But there's a part to Hendrick, because you got to remember Hendrick has a bunch of different companies.
Yes, they have a bunch of subsidiaries. That is true.
Yeah.
That is why Hendrick can still be the number one powerhouse team, because they at least diversified their portfolio in a way. I mean, obviously putting race cars on the track and being competitive, it costs a lot of money. The money that they bring in does not cover that. But
Yeah.
they have their other avenues. Like you have Hendrick engines being leased out to other teams, pit crews, the track attack stuff. They have tons of avenues to make other money.
There's a
And
lot.
Penske's the same way. Joe Gibbs is the same way. That's why they're so good. But like you look at Richard Childress, he was like, I have to sign this agreement. I don't like it, but I have to sign it because I have employees. He's not as he hasn't built his brand to be like
he
Hendrick.
doesn't have that same money. He has the
Right.
ECR engines, but
Yeah.
that's about it.
They have a graphics department. They have avenues, but they could not risk that.
Yeah, no, not
Which
with
just
what
sucks
they're doing.
because like you would think that if the powerhouse teams, Hendrick, Joe Gibbs, Penske, would have been on board with 2311 and FRM, that maybe this agreement could have been fixed a long time ago. But
Well, and the other thing is too, I did not expect the two teams that just spent millions of dollars on charters to hold out of the charters.
Yeah.
So
yeah, how does I mean that's going to be interesting how that works out. That if 2311 spent 30 or 40 million dollars on one charter for a third team, and now they're not guaranteed that charter at all because they didn't sign.
They might not have any charter. So it's interesting because it's holding up other people. Because I mean, you got to remember, there's still technically two rides that were going to certain individuals for FRM and 2311. So Zane was still.
Zane Smith has been announced to that.
Well, that was a fake. That was a fake post.
I thought it was real.
No, that was a fake post. If you look at the name, it's not who you think it is.
Was it that Bob Pockrass or something like that?
Yes. Yep. So yeah, not
Yeah,
true, unfortunately. But it's still one of the most likely things for FRM. And now two people might not even have a job. So you wonder why they haven't announced the driver yet. Well, they don't even know if they're going to have a charter. So why announce it? Because NASCAR still hasn't approved the charter buy either. So that's sitting on NASCAR's desk while all this is happening.
Here's another thing in that video I watched. I did not even know this. Did you know that NASCAR and the France family was thinking about creating their own team and using charters for that too?
I mean, I've heard of that, but that's whenever they were talking about why there's 4 open charters that they're holding for a new manufacturer. There was rumors to why that was.
Like, wouldn't that be a massive conflict of interest?
Oh, it'd be massive. That's why in the deal, it actually had a thing mentioning in there that they could. You gotta remember that was one of the leaked things from the contract. Really? That was one of the leaked parts. That was like one of the first things leaked from the contracts, where NASCAR said that they could not be held out of competing. It didn't say that they were going to open a team. It said they could not be held out of competing. So
I don't like the direction this is going, to be honest with you.
So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how everyone reacts and bounces back, or what NASCAR ends up doing, because it kind of falls on what happened. It kind of falls upon what happens with this lawsuit, and there is a lot of money for a lot of people on the line.
Yeah, I mean, we know our friend at 2311, what he told us this weekend. It's a little concerning.
Yeah, when they're starting to worry about jobs and stuff, that's not good.
Which, I mean, Denny came out and said, I am. This is not.
What's up, Brandon?
What's up, Brandon? This isn't going to affect our employer or employment of, our team, but
yeah. This is, I mean, Michael Jordan can probably weather a lot because obviously he sold his portion of the majority portion of the
I'm
Hornets.
sure Michael's not stupid and has a lot of investments elsewhere that can, like you said, help him weather the storm through this. But what about Front Row? Why do you think Front Row is so quiet on this?
I think they're really hoping they don't get the bad. I think there were some promises made by teams, and then the teams didn't hold up their promises.
That's very possible.
But,
you want to shift to the other breaking news that happened like 30 minutes after the race?
So 30 minutes after the race, I get a message from a friend, and they said, you need to get down to the garages now. Or they're discussing, that's where we're hitting right now. So I get a text, hey, you need to get your butt to the garage. Something's going down. Unfortunately, my phone was on silent. I did not get that message until
I
30
don't
minutes
think
later.
I don't think you would have been able to get down there either. I think they would have.
They closed off the garage, but I knew of there's another entrance.
Yeah, but I think like even if you had gotten in, they would have been like, "Nah, you got to get the fuck out." Like that
Probably, but yeah. So
because
Alex
the picture I saw, there was nobody there other than officials and crew members.
Well, apparently all the teams like big wigs were staying to make sure that nothing happened with that car.
Yeah.
So very interesting. But Alex Bowman, who had made it into the playoffs through how he had raced that day, was disqualified 30 minutes after the race for not meeting minimum weight. There's a 17-pound grace. Apparently, he was 4 pounds out of that 17-pound grace, is what I was informed of today.
That was my question: was how much out of weight was he? Because
21 total pounds.
Right. So they give it's a half a percentage of the total weight of the car, which ends up being like the 17 pounds. They let they let the team fuel the car up, run the fuel pumps to make sure that the fuel cell was completely full, both reserve tanks,
Purge water
out of the system, the
refill.
whole 9 yards. They gave them multiple opportunities to get it, into weight. And it was, you said it was 21. So it was like what, 4 pounds?
4 pounds was what it was over, because 17 pounds is the grace. It was 4 pounds over.
It's like the pit road speed. If pit road speed's 45, they actually give you 49.999. So the same thing with the way the car being underweight. There's obviously the videos and the pictures, what's up, Andrew? Bowman launching off that front stretch chicane, and when he came back down, it was on McDowell's onboard. He came back down. There's debris, everything came out from underneath the car. Mm-hmm. So at first, I thought that okay, they are winning this appeal because they're going to be able to have video proof. They took the car back to R&D. Like they're going to find that some weight shifted or fell out. Something happened to the car when that happened. But I was shocked yesterday when I found out they're not even appealing it.
They declined. And the weirdest part to me is the message they gave with it. Because they admitted they did not give themselves enough weight to make the car legal. However, what they neglect to say anything about is how did it meet weight requirements at the beginning of the race, but then did not meet weight requirements at the end of the race.
Well, it was an impound. Everything's impound anymore. So Saturday morning, we went down to the garage and they're pushing the cars through inspection. They have like right there in the middle garage stall, they push the cars up on the ramps, and that's where they weigh the cars. So before practice and qualifying, the car goes through pre-race inspection and has to meet minimum weight. They clearly made it through. What happened from practice, qualifying, impound, and the race for the car to fall out of minimum weight? That's the real question, obviously. I thought for sure that they were going to appeal and win it easily. One being Hendrick, and two, there was evidence that the car had to have damaged itself. Something had to have broken, whatever it was. Something fell off the car. And for you to say that they were 4 pounds underweight, that totally opens the door for a piece of lead breaking off the car, whether it was a rub block. Who knows? Who knows exactly what it was?
So, and first of all, I'll get with what David. Then there was one of our friends in NASCAR sent me a message about it. And I want to read their message. But David Moss said, "I'm not trying to start anything, but this seems suspect, like how Joey had more fuel than anyone else in Nashville after 4 OTs." And that's what this message is going to deal with. So this is the full message. I'm just reading it as it was sent to me. So I seen on Twitter a video from McDowell's in-car where something flew off Bowman's car. Also, teams cheat with driver stuff they are allowed to put in the car, so they may not have had that right too. Also, pre-race tech, they could have used sandbags for weight or even swapped their rotors today for lighter ones. Those things are heavy. But curious to see what happens. I know a lot of team higher ups stayed, so NASCAR didn't let it slide. So they weigh also after race with raced wheels. Pre-race tech, they use shop wheels. Those wheels could have been weighted. They found someone with them last year, but didn't come out, I don't think. But it didn't come out, I don't think. So I agree with what they're saying. I think this is not something flew off the car, because 21 pounds flies off a car moving that fast. That thing skid off the ground.
No, not 21 pounds. That's where it gets confusing. It was 4 pounds.
Well,
Because
4 pounds.
they are getting that car. They are working in that 17-pound tolerance, and that's where a lot of the confusion comes from. Because people are like, "Oh my God, he was 20 pounds. Like, how did he lose 20 pounds or 17 pounds?" No, that's not how it works. It was just like how Denny explained it on Actions Detrimental, that yes, speed limit is 45, but they can take it all the way to 49.999.
Almost everybody's 49 at least.
Right. So the car is already, when they're going through inspection, the car is already in that 17-pound tolerance. They're probably already pushing that box to where they're only like 2 or 3 pounds. If that, they may be even closer. They may be like a half a pound or a pound on that.
Everyone else is probably at 15 to 16 pounds under.
Yes. And so honestly, there was probably a 4 pound, obviously a 4 pound deviance. So I just think it sounded like 17 pounds is drastic. No, they were actually only 4 pounds out.
Well, even 4 pounds, whatever flew off, I think if it was weighted at even 4 pounds, that thing turns into a missile and is going to hit something and obliterate something. So I don't know if I could see it that way, but I could get wheels, I could get brakes, I could get other things. I mean, you gotta remember they used to put stuff in the tubes. They could have used to do a lot of things.
The thing about the brakes, though, I see
that would be harder.
That would be harder because it's an impound race. I think everything's impound again, like I said. So that would be unapproved adjustments, and he would have had to go to the back of the field, unless they approved.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different things that could be. I mean,
and those are spec parts, though. So I'm not sure about the brakes thing. I mean, we're not in it like the teams are. There had to have been something. There had to have been something that was overlooked.
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely interesting, but he is disqualified. Joey Logano makes it into the playoffs. Every even year, he's made it into the Final Four. Will he make it past the 8?
God, I hope not. But I said it at the track. Write it down that Joey Logano is going to be the champion this year.
He's really good at Vegas.
He's good at every single track coming up now.
Yes, that as well.
Joey is good everywhere. I don't care how much hate you can put on Joey, and I'm one of the biggest Joey haters. Under Dalton. Dalton's the biggest Joey hater that I know of.
Definitely the biggest hater.
About damn time Dakota showed up.
Dakota's finally in here?
Yeah, Dakota's finally here. Yeah, Joey.
Like
I said, write it down. Joey's going to win the championship. You can't write him off anywhere at any time. He could easily go and win Vegas, Phoenix, any other tracks that are coming up. But that would be about right, that via disqualification, Joey gets in and he's able to win the championship.
Been raising princesses. Oh, my Lanto.
No, you were watching wrestling, dude.
Yeah, we know what really happened.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I mean, it's very interesting because he makes it back. Obviously, he's made the Final Four so many times. He's really good at flat tracks. So, I mean, everything he said tracks well, and I think it's going to be really difficult.
I'm with Meg. I don't like it.
Getting there.
I don't like it.
Oopsie.
Whoops.
But But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this year plays out. How many races do we have left now?
4.
All 4 of them. So, with the last 4 races, I mean, we know who can. Let's just do real quick. Las Vegas. Who has the greatest chances to win, in your opinion?
Obviously the 5, the 45, the 20, the 11, the entire round of 8. To be
The
honest,
entire round of 8, correct.
Yeah.
Homestead, Miami. Who's the most likely to win that one?
The entire round of 8 is pretty good there too. I think you have your favorites: the 5,
The
the
entire
45,
round of 8.
the 20.
Yeah, the people that can run the wall really well. Obviously, that's going to be the people that can make it the most, But then you got Martinsville. Who's the best to possibly win that race?
11.
The 11 car. So there's only one real race here that has a pronounced, okay, this person's probably going to win this one. The other 2 are complete crapshoots, and there's final 4. So it's very possible we only have one winner from the round of 8. Or sorry, not one winner. It's very reasonable that only 2 of them are from wins.
Yeah, that is true. I think, and it's happened every single year, that the further you get in the playoffs, the odds of a playoff driver winning a race and advancing lowers because you have multiple good drivers. Like Bowman could. How fucked up would it be if Bowman goes out and wins a race in the round of 8? And
they did it with Sam this year.
That would suck. So
yeah,
Bowman's won Martinsville before. He can easily go win the next 2 races, Vegas and Homestead. So I think the interesting part is that the way the seedings reset, no driver is safe going into the round of 8, but there is a 20-point differential between first and second. You got Larson plus 33, Bell plus 13, Reddick plus 10, and Byron plus 4.
Look at some people sleeping on the 20. I mean, I'm not sleeping on 20. If he makes it to the final 4,
I'm not sleeping on 20. He finished second. He finished second this weekend.
Random VHS tapes 10. NASCAR. We appreciate you. I don't know who you are, but we appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for joining in.
Yeehaw. But
I need to look real quickly here because we have our little format grid here.
Yep.
So you had the 2, the 19, the 14, and the 22 not making it out of the round of 12.
Yeah.
Well, you're right about the 2.
Yep. I was right about the 14. Yep. And I was right about the only one I got wrong was 22.
Well, we're still on track for our championship 4.
Yeah. It's shaping out because, it goes off those drivers that get hot at the right time. And that, obviously Larson, where he was at the time, you can't not pick him. So
how do you feel about your championship pick of Tyler Reddick?
I was afraid you were going to ask that question. I don't think he can do it now. I just think he's too far.
They haven't.
I know it resets. I know it resets, obviously.
Like, as soon as the playoffs started, they haven't.
I don't know what happened. Someone freaking slipped salt on the ground or something. I don't know.
They got a lawsuit going on now, too.
Yeah, they got a lawsuit going against them, so they're taking that. I mean, really, I think it's between Larson and Bell. That's my honest opinion right now. It's one of those two.
I told Charles this. I hope Charles is still in the chat. I doubt it. I told Charles this. The 11 car is secretly now my pick to win the championship, and I'm gonna give
you 11 car.
Yes, I'm gonna give you my reason.
Okay.
He had a penalty going into the playoffs, lost all those points, and has honestly had a shitty playoffs. Would you agree?
Oh yeah.
And he has somehow survived this far to make it to the round of 8, and now we are going to some of his best tracks: Vegas, Homestead, tracks that he's won at.
Yep.
Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville.
What about Phoenix?
he is easily going to make the championship 4, and I think Gibbs is probably going to be the best shot to win the championship when they make it to Phoenix, because a Gibbs car is making it to the championship 4, the 20 or the 11, and maybe both of them. And if the 11 makes it to Phoenix, I think he's got the best shot of winning it. I think all the terrible luck he's had through the playoffs and how they kind of hyped this year up as all in and everything, and then he just kind of
They
fell
hype it
off.
up every year.
He hypes it up
They're
every year.
Hamlin
Yeah.
fans. They hype up every year.
But I honestly think that he's probably the one to put the money on.
So are you all in?
Yeah. I didn't pick him to win the championship,
I need a new co-host.
but
No,
I think he's going to do it this year.
that hurts. That really hurts. You think you know a guy, right? Right, chat. But interesting, very interesting. I mean, I can see it happening, but I just between the 5 and the 20 is just what my gut's telling me.
Yeah, I mean, the round of 8 is stacked. The only one in the round of 8 that I don't
Pretender?
see
Are you the pretender pick for the top 8?
is Chase. I think Chase is just
Best average finish.
yes, but he's
Put it
minus
out there.
9.
I would argue Logano,
No,
especially how he makes it in.
Logano's going to be tough. He was knocked out of the playoffs, and then 30 minutes later given a second chance.
How many races has he won
this year? One.
Other than that one win, how well?
Okay.
That's I'm going off of his body of work this year. It is not what it's been previous years.
I'm not discounting that, but I will also say that none of us, even in the round of 8, were like Ryan Blaney's going to win the championship last year. And what did Ryan do? What did Ryan do?
Because he was consistent, like Chase.
He got fast and consistent in the round of 8, and he won Martinsville, locked himself in, and goes out there and obviously doesn't win the race, but finished second, won the championship.
Yeah, I mean, there's good points on
both
sides.
We were saying the same thing about Ryan last year. Only had like 2 wins on the season, if that. Like, where's Ryan?
Super consistent. He was super consistent, just like Chase is. Chase missed it last year, obviously, because
he was up and down though. He had a rough summer stretch too.
Yeah, but lately he's like he literally has the best average finish right now.
Who?
Chase.
We're talking about Joey.
I know, but I'm talking about like Chase between who I think is more of a weight.
I know. But I don't know. I don't know if consistency. I don't know if consistency will get you, because he may finish top 10 he may finish top 10 every single race in the round of 8, but if you've got 3 other guys, one wins it, and then you got 3 other guys that are running better and getting playoff points, because we're both in agreement that maybe one guy is going to win and lock in, and then there's going to be 3 open spots on points.
Yeah, I mean, let's say we're talking the same language here. Like it's the same thing, kind of like we were talking about.
I know. I think you could say that the 9 and the 22 are the toss up on maybe the weakest, but I'm not writing off Joey Logano. I think he just got something handed to him on a platter, and he's like, this is his second chance, and he's going to take it and run, and he's going to make it to the Final 4.
It's definitely possible. Obviously, he's really good at Vegas. There's a lot of tracks he's really good at coming up. But I think
you can make a case for every single driver in the round of 8.
Oh, 100%. It's the best round of 8 we've had, in my opinion.
I think so.
Best round of 8 when it comes to quality drivers across the sport. As soon as the 2 wasn't in there, I was down 100%.
Like, obviously, you got Larson, no brainer. Christopher Bell,
Christopher
sneaky
Bell,
fast,
Tyler
quiet
Reddick,
kid.
Denny
Tyler
Hamlin.
Reddick, William Byron's that one that you're like, I don't really know because he hasn't won since what, spring?
It's been a while. It's been a minute.
It's been a while.
Been a while.
So,
But
he's had
he's
some
also
good
been
runs, but still, he's collected points. He ran really good in the round of 12. I don't know.
we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. I think he ends up unfortunately not making it to the next round based off the races I see there with the people that are around him, at least.
Yeah, I don't know.
But all right, so we talked Roval. Obviously, you got to see your boy win. You got to see 2 times in a row. All of a sudden, you're the freaking lucky rabbit's foot for some reason.
Back to back.
If he wins Martinsville, Hendrick has to pay for you to go to Phoenix.
If he wins Martinsville, I might have to look at airline tickets and go to Phoenix.
Like, they should pay for it at that point, because at that point you broke your own curse, and then after that it's win. Like, I don't know what to say other than that.
Yeah, that was chill. Like, yeah, I was nervous the last couple laps just because for a fluke caution like we've seen before, but
Multiple times.
It wasn't like, oh yeah, he's gonna go in that corner and blow it. Like, that's not why I was nervous.
No, he's not Joseph.
Yeah, that was unexpected. And to think that, and I didn't tell you this, but to think that there was a chance that I might not have been able to make it the whole fucking weekend.
What was? I'm glad you never said that. I would have kidnapped
Yeah, because
you.
I didn't want to let you know about it. I was worried about the storm.
You rat bastard. Congratulations, Andy. While crying over Martin and trying to smile was the highlight for me. It's very true. But all right, let's get into picks. We got Vegas coming up. Who you got?
I got Tyler Reddick.
All right. Well, that was my
5, but
I'm not taking 5 back to back here. I'm taking 5 for another race, but I'm not taking them back to back here. Hold on. Let me look at this real quick. Tyler Reddick. No, I think this is where Christopher Bell gets his win back. I think he comes out here and wins this one.
Bell pick. There's 5 or 6 guys that can win this weekend. Like, how do you? Larson wins the next 2. I like
It's gonna
it.
be very interesting. I can see Larson definitely winning.
Larson wins the next 4.
homestand.
He just goes on a heater and wins the next 4.
NASCAR would burn down.
They wouldn't let that happen.
They wouldn't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. NASCAR would burn down before that ever came a possibility.
Yeah,
but
he could do it.
Well,
he could do it, but they wouldn't let it happen.
He's definitely talented enough. He could do it. But all right, guys. Well, it's already been over an hour. It's one of our longer episodes, oddly enough. Just a lot to talk about. Oh, RJ, come on, RJ. Why you gotta be late? Larson wins next. Larson win the championship. Larson wins championship. Got it.
Write it down.
Hey,
I'm writing it down right now. RJ said 5.
Pack it, sack it, and shap it. But
I still got
that's all I got.
But we'll see.
I hope not. But that's all I got. Thank y'all for tuning in again. If you need some new coolers to go to the racetrack with, go hit up Kanga Coolers. They're down here. Oh, wait, the code's not there anymore. Did you change up the? Oh yeah, you did change up the whole background. But use our code FASCAR10 or click the link in our bio, and you get a little. There you go. Use code FASCAR10 or click the link in our bio. It'll take you over to the site, and you'll, I believe, still get the 10% off. But you can get coolers, you can get koozies, you can get all kinds of stuff over there, and it helps support us, so we really appreciate it. But that's all I got for you. I'm ready to hit the sack. I'm a tired old man.
What are you gonna do after Martinsville?
What I'm going to do after Martinsville?
Yeah, it's a day
Drive
trip.
home. Yeah, drive home.
You can be
You
tired.
want to stay at my house?
No, I got to work the next morning.
Oh, that sucks.